I now recognize Dr. McCormick from Georgia.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Much like other international organizations such as the World Trade Organization, the United Nations, World Health Organization is vying to gain more authority through Pandemic Prevention, Preparedness, and Response Accord, in my opinion. This worries me greatly. Let me be clear, the United States should never, ever allow international organizations, specifically the World Health Organization, to impede our sovereignty, which I know you just reaffirmed. With that said, I think that when you designed the World Health Organization, it was intended to be a data gatherer, an observer, an informant to nations around the world with the goal of providing interchange of information from different healthcare organizations for emergencies. However, the Biden administration must ensure the WHO authority is limited to setting public health standards and providing a forum for countries to exchange information, but not to be given greater authority to infringe on our nation's sovereignty. Now, I know we had this debate on world tribunals and other areas where we have world organizations that want to overreach. I think it's really important when we talk about U.S. national interests, advance to these upcoming negotiations in the Pandemic Prevention, Preparedness, and Response Accord, which I believe both of you are involved in, correct? Ambassador, okay, so you're both on board. Can you both commit to complete transparency during this process?
Yes, sir. Thank you for the question. We have been...
just yes, right? It's fine.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Ambassador?
Yes.
Thank you. Can you both commit to making the proposed treaty and amendments public to any proposal public to allow for commentary and opinion?
We have done so. Thank you, sir.
Great, and we'll continue to do
yes,
so.
Yes, absolutely will.
Okay, great.
Do so.
With that said, one of the things I'm worried about is we obviously have been compromised in the past where we have been given misinformation and then propagated that information, which you fully admitted, and which we pointed out probably 10 times just today, where we propagated Chinese misinformation, if you will, whether it be just through not vetting the process or not thinking it through. We didn't really take the world's opinion. We just took one country's and kind of propagated that. That worries me in the future. My question is, how do we get the trust back? And even more importantly, I think, what have we done to hold China accountable? Or is there a way? Because I'm telling you, if you look at the World Trade Organization, for example, where China's been taken to court 27 times and defeated in court, we still don't have any teeth to actually hold them accountable. How do we keep countries like China and other bad actors from using the system, from giving us the inappropriate information? And how do we hold them accountable? Because I don't feel like they've been held accountable at all.
Well, I'll try to respond to this question, Mr. Congressman. It's an important one. As the ambassador said earlier, we are quite clear, particularly in multilateral settings, what we expect of all member states, including China. And even in our bilateral engagements, we also have been able to reiterate our expectations.
With all due respect, Ms.
Yes,
Pace,
sir.
Saying I expect you to do something and holding somebody accountable is like saying I expect my kid not to take cookies and then doing nothing when they steal them. What have we done to keep them accountable? Mr. Ambassador, I'll give you a shot.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Congressman, for that question. I share your concerns with how China conducted itself during this pandemic and continue to do so. And there are two things, there are instruments that we are working on, and I see those as instruments for accountability, the IHR and the Pandemic Accord. And let me be very clear, there's absolutely no room in the Pandemic Accord that will allow WHO to have influence or to make any determination over our sovereignty, absolutely not. As principle, Article number 3, as I've stated repeatedly during this hearing, clearly defines what countries have versus what WHO would have. I mean, they really affirm the leading role of each country over its sovereignty.
So I appreciate you answering the question you already previously answered, which is we're not going to lose our sovereignty. That's great. But the question that was never answered, and the reason we're here is to hold you accountable. The question is, what are we doing to hold them accountable, which was not answered?
No, I think we answered that very quickly. there are two instruments we are working on: the IHR and the Pandemic Accord, which are instruments that will be used for ensuring accountability.
Accountability for sovereignty, yes, but I guess my question is the bad actions, but I'm out of time, so I yield. Thank you.